She ruled an empire, commanded armies, manipulated kings, and yet, beneath the lace collars, the silk gowns, and the diamond-studded crowns, Queen Elizabeth I hid something much more disturbing. Her beauty was legendary porcelain skin, fiery red hair, a figure of elegance. But it was all a performance, because what lay beneath was a body crumbling under lead, sugar, sweat, and rot. This is not the story of the Virgin Queen they taught you in school. This is the filth, the poison, and the truth. The rotten smile of a monarch by the time Elizabeth reached her 50s. Her smile, once described as radiant, had become something out of a nightmare. Her teeth were blackened. Many had simply fallen out. Her breath, reportedly unbearable. And yet, she couldn't resist. She adored sugar-sugared violets, marzipan, candied oranges. The sweeter, the better. She was addicted. Foreign ambassadors spoke in hushed tones, describing her decayed teeth and the stench that followed her. But the court couldn't dare mention it. One nobleman even delayed his own tooth extraction until she had hers, just to flatter her pride. The Virgin Queen ruled over England but lost the war inside her own mouth. A bath once a month, if ever water invites sickness, they said. And so, Elizabeth obeyed the wisdom of her time. She bathed maybe once a month, sometimes less. Instead, she perfumed her skin, changed linen obsessively, dusted herself with powders. But the human body does not forget. Sweat builds. Odor settles. Skin suffocates. Behind her heavy gowns were layers of grime. Behind her fans and floral waters was a queen slowly suffocating in her own toxins. And still, she smiled for portraits, painted in poison to achieve her ghostly white complexion. Elizabeth applied a thick paste made of white lead and vinegar Venetian ceruse. It gave her the look of untouched nobility, but it was killing her. Lead seeped into her skin, causing scarring, hair loss, and tremors. Her cheeks flaked, her eyelids cracked, and each time her skin rebelled, she applied another layer, and another, and another, until the mask became her prison, until beauty became a sentence. The wigs that whispered after surviving smallpox, Elizabeth's once lustrous hair thinned dramatically. She was left with bald patches and scars. She turned to wigs elaborate, towering red constructions woven with horsehair, silk, even human hair. But her scalp, it remained unwashed, festering beneath the royal disguise, powdered, perfumed, pinned tight to her head, week after week. What crawled beneath those wigs, no one dared to ask. For to question the Queen's hair was to question the Queen herself. The glove refusal in the glittering halls of her court, gloves were a symbol of status. Lords wore them. Ladies flaunted them. But Elizabeth, she often refused. Her bare hands, royal, yes, but frequently unwashed. She dined with fingers, touched faces, signed decrees with dirt under her nails. In a world without soap, her hands carried more than authority. They carried the germs of her empire. Cleanliness, it seems, was beneath the crown. The Chamber of Secrets, literally toilet habits, in the Tudor court were medieval. And even for a queen, there was no exception. Elizabeth used a close stool, an upholstered chair with a hidden chamber pot beneath. Servants carried it discreetly, changed it daily, and perfumed the room with herbs. But the stench always lingered. Palaces reeked of urine and decay. There was no plumbing, no flushing, just dignity buried beneath the scent of rot. And Elizabeth ruled in the middle of it all. The rotting gowns, her gowns, were magnificent, gold-threaded, gem-studded, layered silk and velvet. But they were also heavy, impractical, and rarely cleaned. Some weighed over 40 pounds, and beneath them, her body perspired. Yet washing these royal garments was risky. Water could damage fabric. So instead, they were brushed, lightly aired. Week after week, the Queen, pristine on the outside, was fermenting underneath. The deadly perfume Elizabeth didn't just mask odors, she weaponized scent. Her chambers were filled with pomander's balls of ambergris, clove, musk, and rose, believed to protect against disease. Her body was dusted with scented powders, her breath cloaked with herbal pastes. But these perfumes, mixed with sweat, decaying teeth, lead paint, and stagnant clothes. The result, a miasma of rot hidden beneath roses. The Queen didn't walk into a room, she invaded it. The mirrors lie toward the end of her life. Elizabeth banned all mirrors from her sight. Her skin was scarred, her hair nearly gone, her teeth black, her body frail. The loneliness of royal decay. As the Queen aged, the court whispered. They noticed her trembling hands, her frail voice, the slow shuffle of her once commanding steps. But no one dared speak it aloud. She had banished age, denied weakness. She surrounded herself with youth, silks, and flattery. Yet, at night, behind the curtains of her chamber, she sat alone, caked in powder, drenched in perfume, afraid of her own shadow. The empire still bowed, but her body had begun to betray her. And she had no heir, no husband, no true companion, only mirrors she refused to face, and ghosts of a beauty that once was. She no longer wanted to face her reflection. Her courtiers obeyed. They praised her beauty, her strength, her eternal youth, but in truth, the Queen lived inside a portrait, while her real self decayed behind painted illusions. She had become her own ghost. The loneliness of royal decay. As the Queen aged, the court whispered. They noticed her trembling hands, her frail voice, the slow shuffle of her once commanding steps. But no one dared speak it aloud. She had banished age, denied weakness. She surrounded herself with youth, silks, and flattery. Yet, at night, behind the curtains of her chamber, she sat alone, caked in powder, drenched in perfume, afraid of her own shadow. The empire still bowed, but her body had begun to betray her. And she had no heir, no husband, no true companion, only mirrors she refused to face, and ghosts of a beauty that once was. The Virgin Queen's secret rituals. As her health declined, Elizabeth adopted strange routines. She insisted on standing for hours, refusing to lie down, fearing that if she rested, death might claim her. She stayed fully dressed, wigs secured, rouged thick on her cheeks. Even in the dead of night, court physicians pleaded, advisors worried. But she wouldn't listen. She knew the truth. Queens don't die in bed. They vanish, slowly, behind ceremony and silence. She had become a ritual herself. The final breath beneath the paint on March 24, 1603. Elizabeth, I finally stopped speaking. She sat motionless for days, fingers clenched, refusing to rest. Her ladies dressed her every morning, applied lead paint to her face, arranged her wig, until the day they couldn't. The mask cracked. The body collapsed. She had ruled for 44 years. But in her final hours, there was no throne, no court, just a dying woman, soaked in layers of poison and denial. She died exactly as she lived, hidden beneath illusion. What remained after the crown fell? When they prepared her body, they found sores, skin damage, baldness, rotting gums. The crown weighed more than her bones could bear. Her face, once immortalized in portrait after portrait, bore no resemblance to the myth. The servants wept. The nobles averted their gaze. The Virgin Queen was no longer marble and majesty. She was flesh, decay, and a final, tragic truth. The ghost of the empire today Elizabeth I is remembered as one of England's greatest monarchs, clever, powerful, untouchable. But beneath that legacy lies a darker history. A woman consumed by her image, destroyed by beauty standards she herself created. A queen poisoned not by her enemies, but by her own mirror. Her ghost doesn't haunt castles. It lingers in every face that hides behind makeup, every body punished to preserve appearance, in every lie we tell ourselves to stay powerful. Long after the power has gone, the price of immortality. Elizabeth I's story is not just about royal power, politics, or the golden age of England. It's also the story of a woman trapped in the image of perfection, so obsessed with maintaining her legend that she poisoned herself to keep it alive. Her pale face, her crimson wigs, her elaborate gowns. They weren't just symbols of authority. They were armor. Armor against age, against vulnerability, against being forgotten. But history remembers everything. Behind every portrait, we see the cracks, the lead paint, the blackened teeth, the scent of roses mixed with rot. We see the human beneath the crown, terrified of time. Centuries later, Elizabeth I remains a legend. But her true story whispers a warning. Power fades, beauty rots, and the masks we wear will one day outlive us, but never hide the truth.